Hey everyone, this is Jerm, and this is my first Titanfall gun review. Now I know a lot of people when they do gun reviews, they pretty much just shoot the gun at a wall and then talk about the stats for a while. And I'm not going to do that because I don't think that's actually that useful. If you wanted to just compare stats, you can go look them up yourself on Simthic. But I am going to mention a couple of the stats that are very relevant to the review, but other than that, I'm just going to talk about my experience playing with the gun. So this gun, the first one is the R101-C. It's the starting carbine that everyone uses, so most of you have probably used this quite a bit. And there's a reason it's the starting gun. It's a very, very good all-rounder. Now, when I'm talking about the gun, it's important that you know that unlike a lot of first-person shooters, in Titanfall, pilots, or the character that you play, have 200 health. And then Titans have somewhere between 5,500 and 10,500 depending on whether you have an Atlas, Strider, or Ogre Titan. So the R101-C is a very, very good all-rounder gun, and that's the reason that you start with it, the same as most first-person shooters. They want you to start with a gun that will work in pretty much every situation, so even when other people are leveling up, you can still remain competitive with them. So the R101-C is a fairly standard battle rifle. Its damage starts at 50 and then drops to 40 per round, 50 at 32 meters, and then it drops off to 40 by 43 meters. So that means it's basically a 4-shot kill most of the time, which is good. And it has an 810 rounds per minute fire rate, which is also good. Something you'll notice a lot in Titanfall is everyone moves so fast. Really high rates of fire are pretty helpful. You'll see in my review of some of the slower firing guns. They can be really great, but they can also be extremely frustrating. So, moving on, let's talk about the attachments. Now, for sights, you start with the irons, and the irons are actually really good. You shouldn't have any problem with them, and you can play through most of the game with them. The only real bad thing about the irons is they do block a fair bit of your vision around the thing you are scoping up against. So, if that annoys you, you might want to move up to the Holo Sight. The Holo Sight is very good. It's your basic red dot sight that you'll see in pretty much every first-person shooter. It fits well on the gun. It works well with the range of the gun. I'd call the range of this gun probably short to mid. It's not a super long-range gun, but you can actually do a decent job with long range. Now, if you want to do a lot of long range, I would recommend using the HCOG. The HCOG is a bit better, I feel, at long range. The size of the reticle really lends itself to long-range shooting. And it makes it easier to pick off targets at those ranges. And if you really want to do really long range, you can step up to the AOG. Now, the bad thing about the AOG is that it makes the gun really hard to use at close distances because of the magnification and because pilots move so fast. When they're moving so fast and you're scoped up on them, if they move much at all, it can be pretty hard to hit them if you're close to them at all. At range, though, this is really great because this gun has pretty low recoil. It's a very, very smooth shooting gun, which makes sense because it's the future and we've magically figured out how to fix recoil on guns or something. I'm not sure about that part, but it's a very, very smooth shooting gun. So I don't know if I would use the AOG unless you kind of want to camp a little bit, and I don't mean camping in the bad sense, but let's say you're guarding a flag and you want to sit on a rooftop across the street and wait for people to come try to capture the flag. That would be a great scenario. Or if you're just trying to hold a general area of the map, if you're not moving around a ton, the AOG is a pretty decent scope. It's just on this gun, I feel like it's probably not the best choice if you plan on moving around a lot. As far as other attachments, you have the extended mag and the suppressor. Now the extended mag, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Do you want more bullets in your magazine? Yes? Okay, use the extended mag. The only reason not to use the extended mag is if you want to run the suppressor. Now the suppressor does cut down your damage a bit. It cut it down enough for me that I actually don't like using it most of the time. But if you want to run stealthy, this gun is a really good choice, and if you want to run stealthy with this gun, the suppressor is a pretty good option. Just keep in mind that you're going to kind of need to get the drop on people a little bit more depending on what guns they are using. And then lastly, let's talk about the ideal use scenario for this gun. I've already touched on it a little bit. Ideally, use this gun in short to mid-range engagements. Only use it long engagements if you are not moving around a ton and your targets aren't moving around a ton. Because it's going to be harder to hit them at those ranges. The recoil is good, damage is good, and this is basically your basic all-around gun for your pilots. I think you can play through this game, you can prestige a couple times, and you never have to use anything else other than this gun if you didn't want to. I have hundreds of kills with it so far, and I really like it. If I'm try-harding for a round and I want to pick just a good all-around kit, this is pretty much always the gun I go for. Even though I've played the others a bit now, I'm going to move on to some of the other guns now to get more of a feel for them and also for future reviews. But I've really enjoyed this gun so far, and if you play short to mid-range engagements and you move around a bit, take the HCOG, maybe suppressor, definitely extended mag if you don't want the suppressor, and other than that, this is a really great gun. So talk to you guys later.